21st. I think Mercury is finally ending this retrograde. Oh my goodness. I know a couple people that have had a lot of problems. All that craziness that happened down in Dallas, replacing, repairing. Not always a fun time, but a good time to look back and review what you've been doing. So let me get the live stream tweeted out to everybody so that they can join us as well. And let's see here. Well, got 3 viewers on already. Welcome, welcome. Let me share a little bit more. Of course, the camera happened to catch me when I was blinking. That's all good. I have to say that I love TubeBuddy. It helps me to tweet this out very quickly and very easily to everyone, so you guys can join me live. We can talk stocks and get everything up and going. All right, now we have this. The live stream chat should be good. Hey, Joe. ENPH. Were you waiting, Joe? Were you waiting for me to come live? You look like you were waiting. Hey, Asif. All right, let me go ahead and pull up the charts over here. We've got the SPY. Is the SPY going to turn down like last year at this time? Well, it kind of looks like maybe we're setting up for that. Let's add ENPH on here, ENPH for Joe. Hey, Terry. Oh, thank you. You know what? I'm actually considering just going more brown. I'm kind of getting tired of this wild color. So, all right, we added NPH over here for you. And let me just clean up the charts right here. All right, so this is looking a little bit like a shoulder, head, and potential shoulder over here. We had higher than normal volume. Looking at the weekly chart right here for the SPY. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Seth. No, hello, good afternoon. Right into it. Let's get right into it. I love the enthusiasm. All right, so here, looking to see, are we going to pull back below 386? Take out this candlestick right here. Well, it looks like we've attempted a couple of times over here. This is the 45-minute chart. You sort of see that shoulder, hey, crazy volume spike right at the end of day right here. And then I like using that 45-minute chart for that reason, so you can see where did the crazy volume spikes really happen as well. We had at the end of the day on the 29th, and we had a pretty big spike here on the 2nd of February, and a pretty big spike down here on the 12th of February. So that was also up close to this trend line, which you can see this was sort of a megaphone, right, that we have setting up right here. And I have to tell you guys, I'm really excited this afternoon going out. We have roughly 3 feet of snow on the ground, and we're going to paint the snow. I couldn't find food coloring, so we're going to use Jell-O in squirt bottles to do art on the snow. Pretty cool. A lot of fun. Hey, Wall Street Stockbroker Notes. You're loving Twitter for tomorrow after being on Twitter Space last night. The beta test was last night. It was kind of amazing. Gonna be Twitter's kind of clubhouse vibe, an awesome thing. I haven't seen it yet. I was not on Twitter last night. Influencers are going to get to use it, and it's going to be paid, so it's interesting. So hello. hello. All right, so with the SPY, looks like we could come back down here, this yellow trend line as well. Hello, Samuel. Happy Sunday. And we could bounce off of it. So I'd be looking, hey, maybe 374 area. Look, we have a lot of different trend lines that are sort of hanging out over here. 375, maybe we're going to see a bit of a correction there. Who knows what's really going to happen. But right now we're starting to see that big volume week, again, was back here at the bottom. We're above all that big volume as well. We had kind of big volume here, right, at around 381 with a low here of 374. So again, that brings us back to that 375. So big volume, I'll put it here and here. So what are we going to see for this next upcoming week? descending volume up. We're at the top, a little bit higher volume. Let's also look at VXX because sometimes that will give us a hint as to what's happening. Hey, Jane, went back and watched the 14th February stocks you reviewed. It was really good to see how the tickers reacted. Not sure if any of you all do that, but it's a good exercise. Oh, thanks, William. Yeah. In fact, you guys know that I am working with Ticker Talkers, sending out my trade alerts. And they just partnered with Webull as an education education partner, I should say. And so now I'm going to go back and do all of those statistics, William, for all of my alerts, pretty much since January. So excited to share all of that with you guys too. And my thoughts on CCIV. How to find it if it's a reversal or pullback. Yeah, Nicholas, I will definitely add that. I do have Bitcoin on here to review now every single week. And so Riot will likely trade in relation to that as well. So now if we look at Bitcoin, we see it's up 3%. So that's a nice, this is a weekly chart. Hey, it's a little extended. All right, let's take off these. We were doing something in the Java pit. What's our projected target? Hey, look, we had a breakout right here and we have upward motion. We're breaking out from the 20th, which was yesterday. So I know, surprise, surprise. I think I need to buy some Bitcoin. Looking at this chart grinding to the upside, 20 million. I've been trading BitW. Thank you, Wall Street Stockbroker Notes. I got to come up with I'm just going to call you Wall Street. It's shorter. Or Stockbroker Notes. How about WSN? I'll call you WSN. That's easier. You're swinging PLTR, small size, but that reversal was pretty strong. Yeah, we'll check out PLTR as well. All right. So with Bitcoin, I know everyone's checking this out. Hey, this is one that is grinding to the upside. The big one that you guys know that I mentioned last week, and I hope that you guys looked at the technical analysis and analyzed it for yourself and found that it was to your management style with BitW. So BitW, I'm going to put Bitcoin over here on the right. Here, easiest way to do that, just click on this one. So when we look at it here, this is supposed to be this one, and we're going to make this a one-day chart. So when we look at it, come on and adjust. So this one, actually here was the breakout, right? The 10th of January. This did not have quite that same breakout on the 10th of January. However, look at what happened on the 16th of February, right? Once we had this crazy breakout over here, look at how BitW just exploded. And we have this Doji Day, which was yesterday for Bitcoin. Yeah, I'll add AGI as well, South, to look at. That once we had this breakout right here, look at how this just surged. Now, BitW is an OTC crypto fund, 77% Bitcoin, and seeing that Bitcoin is now up 14%, let's see where we are from, let's put this down to, say, a 4-hour chart. From roughly 4 p.m. on Friday the 19th. So let's go back here. We'll call it 7, right? Where do we close? We close down right here. So we are up 3.7%. Is that correct? Yeah, up 3%. So would anticipate this to have a bit more of an increase right here. 3%, looking for maybe 140 if we are going to look just at that. So this should open up as well as Riot as well on Monday. So if we look at Riot and we say, hey, 3.7%, we're looking up at roughly 73.58. Now, Riot and Mara are two that do trade similar to Bitcoin. Riot has 65 million, I believe it is. 65, yeah, and Mara, I believe, has something like 130 million. No, 87, excuse me, 87. So they both trade similar to Bitcoin, but hello Neil, welcome. Riot tends to move, in my opinion, a little bit faster than Mara because it is lower float. All right, hold on one second. Samuel, would you trade the SPY at the beginning of the week? Why or why not? You know what, Samuel? That's a good question. I think I'm going to also answer in a more lengthy video. But I tend to like to watch on Mondays because to me, it tends to be more of a positioning day. So I tend to watch more because they're laying the foundation for what they're going to do from Tuesday to Thursday, in my opinion. And I will add on BSQR. All right, so let's look at the other indexes really quickly. Let's rock through this. I've got some snow painting to do. So right here, we look like we're setting up for potential head and shoulders on the 24-hour chart. And also, it looks as if the volume has also been highest over here at the top of the left shoulder, and we have this crazy drop down. So maybe we're going to come back down to 323.93 this week. That's a potential. Let's also look at Dow Jones. So really the one that was up, we had some money flowing out of the Qs and into IWM. I did put the Dominican up. This is my pseudo vacation. Last year at this time when the market was crashing was poolside in the Dominican Republic. So I'm reliving that memory with the background this week. Wish I was there again. Next year for sure. Next year we'll be there. All right. So Dow Jones, we've got this box over here. If we are able to bounce off of it, great. Otherwise, I'd be watching for a bounce off of the 312.50 area. Russell has been leading. And hey, we came back down. Here's that 425, guys. It bounced off almost off of that 425 and then rejected this downward trend line. So lower risk entry here to the short side for it to come back down to 217. Feels as if the momentum is a little bit more to the downside right now for me. Yes, we did bounce off of the 15 EMA on the 24-hour chart. It looks fairly strong right here, but we're also rejecting the weekly trend line that we have had since November, and that would be a lower risk short entry. So we have this trend line and we have the upward trend that it's rejecting. Oh, hey Joe, I love Fort Myers. Got to take my girls down there, put their toes down in the Gulf. All right, let's also check out Apple. We'll go through the majors really quickly, right? So on this 24-hour chart, right? Oops, I don't know what I just moved, but I can undo it really quickly right here. So on the 24-hour chart, shoulder, potentially head, shoulder rejection. If we break down below 126.80, target would be down here, roughly 112. That would pull down all of the market, as with Microsoft as well. So Microsoft looks like it's slowly rolling over. However, if I would give this down to the 21 EMA here at 238, if we break down below 238, sayonara. Oh, thank you, Asif. Asif is reminding you guys, please, if you like the content, please like and subscribe if you like that, like the live stream. Helps YouTube to share more with the algorithm to help more people at once. So Amazon looking fairly bearish here. It could potentially hit this trend line here, roughly at 32.40. Otherwise, I would look for a test back down here to 30.97. Thank you, Samuel. Tesla as well. Everyone was saying, Jane, what's your thoughts on Tesla? This is looking fairly bearish if we cannot hold the 50 simple moving average here at 765. So giving it a little bit of time, it came up, tested the moving averages. This would be that lower risk entry to the downside. We're seeing the directional movement indicator down here is flipping. And as of pretty much the 10th of February, this is looking like the downward price action is in control over here. On the shorter term, it's a little, it bounced a little bit and then the shorts took over again, end of day right there. Moving to Florida in May, William, Crestview, Fort Walton beach area. Very nice. Is that on the east or the west side, William? I'm not sure with that location. I love visiting down there. And unfortunately, I would visit if we didn't have that 2-week mandatory quarantine period in hotels when you get back to Canada now. Ridiculousness. I also wanted to cover financials with the banks. So we have XLF breaking out to all-time highs over here. Western Panhandle. Awesome. Thank you. Is it near Apalachicola? I went to the little store in Apalachicola and got oysters raw. And I love that you could go and just pick your drink right out of they serve you there. I think fried shrimp too. And I remember that. It was a fun experience. Good morning, blind trader. All right. So we are testing out and breaking out to new all-time highs. Now it looks more like a cup and handle scenario. When we pull this back to a monthly chart, this is 3 months. We are at all-time highs for banks right now. A little extended away. Granted, this is a 3-month chart, so keep that in mind, quarterly chart. And if banks, if they start raising interest rates based on inflation going up, right? We're also at a precipice with the vote on the 1.9 trillion stimulus, right? What do you think that's going to do? We're going to put out all this money. What's going to happen to the dollar? What's going to happen to inflation? What are they going to have to do to interest rates to keep them in control? They're going to have to raise interest rates. So personally, looking at dream house to come, haven't found the right one yet. Found one, loved it online, and you know what? It's kind of like maybe doing a match date or something where you look online, you're like, oh my goodness, this photo looks amazing, and then you go in person and you're like, yeah, no. That's the way it was in touring the house. It was like, yeah, no. Water damage, it looked bigger in the photos, no. But interest rates could potentially be rising with the Fed right now. They're keeping things loose. They've talked about buying federally backed securities until June, also pumping in money with the stimulus, talking about keeping interest rates low. However, we do have Yellen coming on and saying, oh my goodness, maybe inflation could get out of hand. We might have to raise interest rates. So keep that in mind. If you are thinking of refinancing or thinking of buying a house, carpe diem, right? Seize that moment. All right, so let's look at gold too. That would also likely drive the price of commodities up. So I wanted to do the longer term time frame here. Does look like we're almost in an inverted head and shoulders on the 45-minute chart for gold. And looking over here, it looks as if we've had a bit of a reversal pattern, right? We do have this upward trend line that it's slowly broken now. We have, let's look at the gold futures too. GC1, here we go. So we've come back. We're still in this downward trend. This is that handle that has been setting up from about a 700, 800 point handle. And it's pulling back down. In my opinion, as long as we can stay above this 1750 area, we're golden. And look at how it bounced off of that. That's crazy that I picked that price before. And look at how we bounced off of that this week. It's so amazing. I love the charts and the math. So looking for potentially gold to turn around here, as well as silver has somewhat been in that upward trend. This is silver SLV, and we'll also look at the silver futures. So we've been trending up for on the 3-month chart, on the monthly chart. Let's go to the monthly chart as well. 45-minute chart, it dropped down and then bounced. Actually, that would have been the perfect entry, which was post-market on the 18th. Would have been the best time to get into silver, right at the bottom of that trend line. Shot up, coming back down, bounced off of the 425 on the 45-minute chart. And yeah, William, I'll check that out. So let's look at silver futures as well. Always looking at potentially purchasing silver physical asset Not a bad thing to own things physically, right? What happens if with that $1 trillion stimulus, what happens to the value of money that's in the bank? Boop. What happens to the cost of something that you own physically with inflation? The value would go up. So a commodity such as gold and silver would likely go up as well. So we came and we tested this. This upward thrust of the price action was thanks to Wall Street bets. And now we tested the midline. Could be, as long as we can break out, really the big area is breaking out above 28.50. Not 27, but 28.50 right here is really where we're going to see that the rest of gold could catapult up with this giant cup and handle setup, right? And maybe this is just setting up for a rounded bottom. Look at how we're testing over here again. So we came down, test, down, test. Could be setting up for a ginormous rounded bottom. Even up, we might see a test up around that 35 price area, pull back, and then surge higher. It's never straight up and never straight down. Hola! ¿Dónde estás en Puerto Rico? What's the island off of Puerto Rico that has all the turtles? I was trying to think of that the other day. I went there on a community service trip when I was in high school. Yeah, Neil, we'll check it out. Get some silver when you get back to the States. OBTW. Mount Etna was really active. Oh, by the way, got it. San Juan. Love it. Okay, so let's go through on my list, right? So you guys know I do provide a list every single Sunday, and I'm going to put it up at Culebra. Yeah, the Isla de Culebra. Oh my goodness, that was a long time ago. Yeah, Culebra is beautiful. All right, so here's my list. We will fill it out. I have them over here as well. But in case you guys want to take a screenshot or whatever, I figured I'd post it up there. I also do post it on my Instagram, Miss Airplane Jane, if you ever want to check that over there with the link to the video to watch the explanation. So let's get into the explanation. All right, so let's look first at AXTI. Love this little trick. My buddy Mike showed this to me. I didn't even know it was there. 38.5 million in the float for AXTI. And I do track the short volume and also the float. All right, so we're gonna bring this back to 24 hours instead of 1 month. All right, and why are they not showing up on that side? I should find out what that little shortcut is. Where's Julio? He always knows the shortcuts on TradingView as well. So I would pull this and pull it back to 1460 down here and 1550. So 1460 for support and 1550, and short volume we will check, but that's what I'm looking at. When we look back in history, let's go back at all time. Oops, over here. Might have resistance above 17 and then 18, and look at how it ran in the past before. So this has been breaking out. It just recently broke out up above the Jeremy, well, I did touch a bit about silver already. I'm looking to purchase more physical silver as well, not just the stock. Physical stuff is good if the dollar devalues itself. So this one looks like a W on the longer term time frame, right? Where it broke up above 1223. We've had that move happen. It surged higher. The depth of this range, 1223 down to 0.68 cents. Long term, we could see this moving up $11.50. So we've from here, so we might be seeing this move up to $23. All right, MITT, let's put on the 45 minutes. So as I mentioned, I did touch upon interest rates, right? I did say, looks like, in my opinion, and following the Fed, following the inflation, if we have that stimulus package, Janet Yellen could easily come out, whoa, hold on, we're going to put the brakes on all this inflation growth and we're going to raise interest rates. That would be in perfect alignment with this to launch up higher, bring it back up here up to the $8 mark for MITT, a mortgage investment trust. And this one did perform well after earnings. I know that there was an amazing amount of home buying in the US. I know my aunt actually sold her house above asking. So when you start to hear stories like that, then you can look at, that means a lot of people are refinancing, a lot of people are buying, and I would look at this to hold, we'll drop this down even to 380 over here. 380, yeah, I agree, Ellen. You missed the Bitcoin. I was talking about Bitcoin earlier. So here we have 40 million as well. That's fairly low float. To give you a concept of float, 51 million is in GameStop, right? So these two are lower than GameStop. So when the volume and demand comes into it, there's a chance for them to really run. Now, that was the perfect storm of short squeeze with more than the total float shorted. So keep that in mind, that not all low float stocks are going to catapult to the moon like GameStop. And let's even see if we go to high interest, high short interest. There we go. So GameStop is still here. On Wednesday, every other Wednesday is when they're going to update this. That's when the new information comes out. So GameStop, as of this was, I'll get you the dates exactly. I'll put that on my website actually. I'll do a blog about that. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that, I know, Asif, where are they? What's going on? I did put it out on Twitter, right? Yeah, Twitter. They usually, you know what, Bat Scientist also has a family. So maybe he's busy with his family. And I don't know if Julio, what's going on with Julio? He's usually here, but you know what? He's usually here, Asif, during the week, not always on the weekends. Sunrun, SunPower, and CleanSpark. Yeah. So here, we can add those on. Sunrun is RUN. What is SunPower? SunPower. There we go. SPWR. And CleanSpark. There we go. We'll check those out too, Ellen. All right, so John Deere had earnings, performed really well. This could be a sort of gap and go scenario. So I'd watch for 329 to, no, they're two different people. Asif, two different people. Yeah, so 329, and let's put this up to let's do 333. 333.20 there. 329 and 333.20. How to find if it's a pullback or reversal. What do you mean, Asif? As a video to do? Likely it would be the volume that follows at the bottom would be what I would be watching if it's pulling back. And then we have Trip. So we have TripAdvisor. Also had positive movement after earnings. Many times we'll see a 3-day move. Just want to check and see if I have any other lines on here. Nope. All right. So I would look for 39.40 to hold as support and 40.25 for resistance here. Hi, everyone. Just sitting back with coffee and enjoying the analysis. Thank you, Walter. 39.40 and 40.25. And let's see, oops, how many shares are in TripAdvisor. Hit the wrong button. I'm looking at getting a new computer, potentially an Asus. I like Asus. That's what my laptop is, but I think I need a desktop. So Asus. If a stock is trending to the upside and is it pulling back, let's look at it as an example here with TripAdvisor, right? Trending, trending, trending up. Okay, look at this right here. You see how far away it is from this pink line? Higher risk, right? This is lower risk, it's closer. And as this pulls up, hey, this is higher risk right here. I would anticipate for it to pull back. Yes, it did, okay? This, it's a little higher risk. This could surge higher because the shorts might have been squeezed once it took out the former high right here of the day prior. So this might come back down, in which case, that's why it's good to be prepared either direction, not just one. It's like tennis. If you're playing tennis or ping pong, right, and somebody shoots the ball at you, are you only going to hit it if it's a forehand? Well, then you're going to miss 50% of the shots, right? If we look at statistics, 50-50. So you have to be prepared both ways, right? Good not to just be a long trader and good not to be just a short trader, but to be nimble and take what the market is offering to you. All right, so that's TripAdvisor. Let's check out CYBE. So Cyber Optics had a great day after earnings. Are you asking if these are Heiken ashy candles? No, these are not. I just prefer to have black and white on my chart. I find it easier to read, less psychological battle there, and more ability to be objective with price action and volume. So I'd look for 26.50 to hold here, excuse me, 29.50 to hold here, and 31. Cyber Optics definitely had downward price action. If we extend that up there, it's just been testing, so it would also need to test this trend line right here. Yeah, it's nice, right? Xenos, are you Greek by any chance with that name, Xenos Trading? Or did I even pronounce it incorrectly with the X? All right, so for Cyber Optics, 29.50. Hey, Fausto, it's been a while. No, it's just your branding. Nice. 6.95 million. So you could see that this, if this one squeezes, could squeeze big time because that is uber low float. Okay, nice. All right, so now that we have finished the sort of the little chart that I have here, let's fill in the short volume. So if we go to daily, oh, cancel. I don't want to go to daily short volume, short sale there. All right, so first one on my list is AXTI. It's nice I have the cheat sheet on the other computer, 48%. So I'm going to pull this back over here so I can fill it out more easily. So 48%, MITT, the ascending wedge. Yeah, we'll check it out. I'll add it on. This is 33%. John Deere, probably fairly low as it just had earnings, 35%. TripAdvisor. I can totally cheat because I have touch screen on my, that made my life so much easier. I always forget I have a touch screen so that I can move the mouse easily. I love that on my Mac. Have you ever tried Spice Algo with TradingView? You could do a review sometime. No, Joe, I have not tried Spice Algo. That's something that I could learn about. I have about 3 different softwares that people are like, Jane, test this out, let me know. Jane, test this out, let me know. I'm like, I've got so much going on. I will let you know when I get to reviewing it. Right Side Trading is one. I don't know. There's another one too. Simpler Trading, I think is what the other one is called. They all have different secret sauces that they want to see if I like. So I like what I'm doing right now, but always willing to test out another tool and see. All right, next one on the list is PDFS, and I feel like I missed somebody, AMD. I missed you there with Xenos. All right. So PDFS, totally misspelled it. Crazy drop down day, right? Massive volume earnings, dropped away. Many times with earnings, that when it crashes like this, we see that it will have a 2-day more continuation to the downside and then potentially find a bottom. So $18.25, and I would put this up to $19, that round number right there. $18.25 and 19, and our float for PDF 28.9. So this might be more difficult to short. I personally prefer doing puts on stocks instead of the actual shares, because to me the risk is minimized, right? So this, I'm starting to see that this one's setting up a bit of a triangle, and this could potentially end up breaking out to the upside if volume came into it. So we might have a shoulder, head, and then a shoulder right here again. But usually OLED tends to perform very well. They have something like 1,500 patents on 1,500 patents for OLED technology. But you can see on the daily chart here, we have a shoulder, a head, and then we failed right there. If we measure this from the depth right here up here, 36 points. So we might see that this will drop down 36 points, which puts us roughly 188, 189, if it continues to move to the downside. It has set up a bunch of resistance and a big head and shoulder. So left shoulder, high volume, head, and then right shoulder drop. Also hitting the 90 simple moving average right here. Yeah, we can look at Watt as well. And AMD, CLX gaming PCs, AMD. Good for a long time if you buy something similar. Second best available processor. Thank you, Walter. Yeah, I was just, window shopping online this morning, looking at it. What about this one? I like Asus, so, of course, it's the core components inside of the computer and how it's manufactured that's going to make that difference. So I appreciate that recommendation. All right, let's also look. OLED, I think, has 123 million. No, 42.9 million. 42.9 and 222 and 234. All right, LMNX. Did I not even put that on there? Yes, I did. So LMNX, same thing. Look at how we really just took out all of this volume over here. Massive volume day, bounced off of the 200 simple moving average. Yes, William, it does. To me, I agree with that. So William was saying OLED looks like a good candidate. Actually, Strangle is out of the money either way. Straddle is the same price. Think about riding a horse. Like, you straddle it, your legs are on the same side of the horse. A strangle, I don't know, you might twist it. I don't know, a good way to envision strangling. But you're outside of the price action when you strangle. Yeah. A little trick to visually have that work for you. So for LMNX, Luminex, biotechnology. I'm not really into biotech stocks, but I like this. And you have a cyber-power PC 2 years ago, plenty of power. Whatever you get today will be better. I wouldn't spend more than $1,500 on a new trading machine. Yeah, partition to my Mac to run Windows and Apple and love it. I have a Mac and a PC, Joe, for that reason, because I like the ease of the Mac. I grew up on, my first computer was actually a Commodore VIC-20, but then Macs, and so yeah, I like both for different reasons. Oops. All right, delete this. All right, second, two more. So we have Pepsi. Oh, I totally didn't do the levels here. Hold on 2 seconds, guys. 2760 and 2840. 2760, 2840, and 43 million. A lot of low float ones today, huh? You have a MacBook Pro and loving it. The one thing is I don't like is the parallels. I don't like to have to use another software to run like a PC based program. That's my one downside that I don't like. All right, so Pepsi, before I thought, hey, Pepsi might be breaking out right here, and no, look, it just tanked away. So I would watch for that 133.80 to hold as Actually, I'm going to move it up to 134. That whole number is going to be more powerful. 134 and then 132.40 down here. Down just a little bit right there. 132.40 and 134. 1.3 billion in the float there. And Astrazeneca, the final one on the list. Yeah, we'll check out FireEye and Zynga, sure. So Astrazeneca, I think I had this on my list on Friday, and this one just sort of looks as if it looks like it's about to go more to the short side. It's been rejecting these moving averages. We're starting to see the faster moving averages pull down. If Coke news about the training goes against them, Pepsi could get a bounce. I don't even know you know what, William? I don't really pay attention to the news. I just trade the charts. So I don't know what the news is. What's the news? So 50.60 and 50.80 here for AstraZeneca. $2.62 billion. You have to run Citrix for Street Smart Edge on Schwab for Apple. Don't like the lag. Got it. Yeah, I don't like that for that reason. Okay, so Stamp was lower float. Let's see how much this has in it. I like this potentially longer term upward swing. You see how it came back? This was a resistance back here, back in December, and then it flipped to be support. If it holds support here, I like this. If then it can break, if then, I love thinking of trading if thens. If then it breaks out above 212, potential move to the upside for this. Let's do this on the 24-hour chart too. So you can see it also tends to somewhat, looks like a sine wave, doesn't that? Isn't that so cool? Up and down and 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 up. Now maybe it'll have a bounce up to 240. Looks like that could have a $20 bounce, and that was potentially a shoulder area. Excuse me, a 20% bounce. I'm buying 1,000 shares of Watts tomorrow, ASIF. Okay, Neil. SK tweeted about it earlier. SK? Oh, is Stephanie Camerman? Is that what you mean by SK, William? Okay, KGC, another potential one. I like it. It's hitting the 425. So that's why I like this. I would not get into this immediately. This is still in that downward price action. I like to catch the stocks on the way up. This is a gold corporation in Canada. So looking for this to find support and then curl back up. So I would be watching it if it could bounce off of this 425. Lower priced gold stock. You can see the high of the year, 1032. So we've had a drawdown of, is that roughly 60%? 36%. So we might have a bigger move to the upside there. Another one, IAG, another Canadian one, same scenario, drawing down. And I would look for this to see, hey, this one has a bit more of range to it. And this has been a support area in the past. Is this going to bounce right here? It's still showing the directional indicator, 425 exponential. Joe. And then an FISV, another one, we have this downward trend line over here. Right? So this looks as if it could break out. I would look more for a breakout above 115 right there and see if this could hold the resistance support area of 109 for FISV. All right, and the last one on my potential swing list, DCOM. Check out that run. So this goes back to, this is another bank, financials, going back to the financials breaking out. Interest rates could potentially be rising and moving to the upside. All right, let's get into the ones that you guys have brought. Again, if you guys like the live stream, please hit that like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. All right, we're going to get into ENPH. So ENPH, I am seeing a little bit of a sell-off right there, right? And a little bit of a descending triangle. So if this could hold above that 172 area, potential for this to bounce up and break out above 200. Oh, you're welcome, Neil. You know what? I forget, and then I just look to see how many people are watching and go, wait a second, we have a lot of people. It really helps YouTube to share it, and that's why I say it, because the goal is to help people with all of these. All right, so Riot, we touched on Riot before, right? Let me pull this up over here. So with Riot, we have this upward trend line. This was the upward bound that it kept hitting, and now that is flipped to be a reversal point. You want to add CW on here? Sure, I'll add CW. And we can add Coke as well. You wanted Coke? And I believe I have Watt on there. Yeah. MLM and AFL. Oh, we already had added those. Okay. Right? So looking for this to bounce a little bit higher with Bitcoin, that we know Bitcoin is already up 3.99%. Now, where is it going to be when the market opens tomorrow? Not sure. But right now, this is going to continue, it looks like, to the upside at the moment. All right, PLTR. So PLTR, nice reversal. Who mentioned PLTR? Who's here that mentioned that they have a position in PLTR? Classic reversal pattern right here. Higher volume with this buying wick at the bottom. Nice reversal right there. Would look to see if this can break back up above 31.25. Nice, William. Yeah. It's nice. You can see over here too, it took out the resistance, right? It had a resistance area of 27.50 and then it bounced. Apple, AMD, Amazon. I already did Apple, Fausto, and I already did Tesla. I did Apple and Amazon and Tesla. We're going to do AMD. We'll do Crowdstrike. Now RH as well. All right, let's look at AGI. So AGI, Alamo Gold, somebody else brought in the golds. So it's same scenario. This is dropping down, but you see on the bigger time frame, we can see, hey, look, we have this support area. Actually, this might come all the way back down to 7.15 over here. So this might even come down a little bit further. It does have earnings coming up. The really big one also is that, you know, Warren Buffett bought into Barrick Gold and then he sold. And look at how we have the 3 black crows and it has dropped. So I personally am going to keep a watch on this to see if we start to see this curl back up. If we start to see this curl back up, we have crazy high volume. This was day 1, this is day 2. All right, maybe in 2 days, maybe Tuesday, Barrick Gold will be primed for the move. Sold PLTR last week for 4,300, 1 day hold after the dip. Nice job, Jeremy. Hey, Kyle. Welcome. You're a little late today, huh? All right, we'll add Fubo on. Yeah, I'm already doing it. Yeah. BSQR. All right, so B square. This looks like momentum is dropping. Is this lower float? It looks like this was a low float runner. Yeah, 11 million. So it's come up. Really, the momentum is starting to roll over. We have a drop, dead cat bounce, continuation drop. If this uses a fib level to come back and then bounce, I would look for this to come down to 474. That would be my target to the downside, actually. It would be 474 to exit a short. All right, let's look at AMD. Yep, next one up. This is my baby. Yeah, Buffett is not always right. That's true. However, there are people that do trade like Buffett, right? Okay, let's stretch this chart out. Let's go to 1 year. And let's adjust this over here. And let's get, do you guys see that it's starting to curl? Now that I've stretched it out. A little bit of a rounded top. So is it going to break here and come down? It did this before, right here, see? It came here, and then how many days after earnings? 5 days after earnings, then it started to run up again. So we've already had earnings. Let's see. Let's click from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days after earnings, and we bounced off of that level, interestingly enough. So maybe this is going to run to the upside. You always have to look at both sides of the coin, right? Where is the risk? Where is the momentum? What's happening with the volume? It's starting to drop a little bit, just a little bit more right here. But most of the volume, all of this volume down at the bottom, above us, right? The biggest volume is right here. And we're obviously above that right here. So if it pulls back, I would look for it to come back to 82.60 area. If it breaks this to the downside. All right, let's check out Watt. I know you guys are so excited for Watt. Let's put this with the 45-minute chart next to it so we're able to see. All right, so right up here and right here. Yeah, look at how it stopped. Let's check. Let's throw a fib on here. All right, came almost back down. Yeah, let's put this up here. Maybe this will come back down to $5 and then surge to $8. We will see. If the rumor is that it's being bought, that's the catalyst that's driving the price action. They might come out and Apple might say, yes, we're actually buying it, and it drops, right? So sometimes when that news is confirmed, people actually sell. So be aware of that as well. MLM, Martin Marietta Materials. That's an alliteration. All right. So this is nicely to the upside, hitting all-time highs. For now, let's see. Let's look at this on the 24-hour chart. Let's look at 5 years. All right. So this had a nice run. Looks like it has a nice run in general from October until December. And then, let's see, October all the way up. So this could likely continue. Once it broke out, let's look at something else. Let's go, it's on the weekly chart. Right here. All right, and we had another one right here. So this is $239, we'll call it $240, $42, add 42 to this. It's already gone up and exceeded that. 20 points there. It's already exceeded the 20 points. It did find a bit of resistance right here. Another 20 points there. So maybe this will head up to 350 and then come back down and maybe test 310 again. Socket Mobile went to the moon. They shot back down after the Apple announced deal with Socket. Exactly. It's the shorts that are getting scared and starting to cover. How many shares are in Watt as well? 40 million. So that's another reason. When we look at it on the weekly, hey, look, last time it did a crazy move like this and almost came to the 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart. Very next week, it retraced all the way back down. So that's what I was saying. So careful with those. They're a lower float. Aflac. You know, I'm going to leave this as a weekly and put the 24-hour here. All right, so Aflac has come back up to a resistance area over here. And on our daily, it's breaking out, right? It broke out from the former high for the year. And now 48.55. This could come back down to 47.50 and then bounce up a little bit higher. But right now, after this area, I would look for 50.75 or 50.50. 50.50. I like that. All right, CW. So CW, let me expand this right here. Now I can, oops, geez. Okay, guys. All right, CW. CW has a little bit of descending price action here on the weekly. I like to see that weekly chart so that we're able to see that big picture. So we have a little bit of descending price action, a little bit of a megaphone to the downside here. Almost looks like it bounced off of that right there. Earnings is coming up. I never like to hold through earnings. Up to, exit, after, enter. what indicators am I using? This is directional movement indicator, RSI. This one, I don't even know what this one is. ADR and RSI. So I have two different RSIs. This is one that shows buying and selling, price action, and let's see, settings. If we go into it, RSI style. I don't even remember which one this is that I put on, but I like it. That doesn't help you, does it? Let's see. Sentimental RSI. That's the easiest way to find it. If you guys ever are looking for an indicator or something, just go over to your object tree right here and it will show you what it is. All right. So for this one right now on that shorter term, it looks like it is moving up. We have the moving averages that have crossed up over the 50 simple moving average right here. So it would look for that breakout above 118, then a 120 test, and then 122. Those would be my levels. If it breaks above 122, hey, let's head on up to 130. Coca-Cola. Got some fibs on here. All right, so Coca-Cola in a wedge had higher than normal volume 2 weeks ago. It looks as if it's retracing back down a little bit, bounced off of the lower trend line, and it's coming up. Would look like it needs to break above 51.20 here. Do you guys see this almost inverted head and shoulders? So the 425 was acting as a shoulder, then we have the head here, and then the shoulder again. So if we're able to break up above 51.25 or 51.25, I would add roughly $3 onto it. Yeah, we'll look at it, Tool Girl. QNTA, sure. I have some QNTA. Have mentioned that before. So this could run up $3 from here up to 54 again, which you could see was a resistance area. So if it breaks that 51.20, look for 54, even 54.40 right here. All right, Crowdstrike. So Crowdstrike got some price lines up here. Looks as if it had strong resistance over here, roughly 225 for quite a while. Then once it broke out above 225, shot up, right? And we hit the 250, had a reversal candlestick pattern over here, pulling back down, some descending volume right here. Overall, since it broke out from November 30th, we've looks like lower and lower buying, except for this one day right here on the 25th, or the week of the 25th, which was likely right here, these 3 days that added to that volume for that week. And a little bit of ascending as it was breaking out, probably some shorts covering, some momentum buying getting in, then it started dropping, price action was dropping at the same time. So we'd watch to see for that volume to increase again and break out from this downward consolidation and move to the upside. All right, right now had a big move to the upside as well over the past year, much like everything else. But on the weekly, this looks like a fairly strong reversal pattern, right? Bullish, doji, bearish. Did I not put those on? Ellen, I'm so sorry. I thought I put them on. Didn't I put them on? I swear, remember I was typing them in? I remember doing sun run. That's weird. Run. Sorry about that, LN. There, I thought I put them on. Sorry about that. All right, so now I would watch for the former high over here. No, I didn't forget about you. Remember, I was typing them in. I don't know why they didn't show up on the list over here. It's weird. You saw me type them. We can go back and look at the video. I was typing them. All right, so I'd watch for 59, 592.50 as a resistance and 565. Right now it has dropped down, bigger buying at the bottom, and then should be shooting up right here. Yeah, I don't know why it did that. It's weird. All right, Restoration Hardware. So Restoration Hardware on the weekly, it was riding up, boom, it broke that. And now we have a new trend line right here. and it's riding off of that trend line fairly nicely over here. Let's put it on the daily. Helps do it like that. So it bounced off of that, also bounced off of the 50 simple moving average. We also have a little bit of a descending triangle here. Let's throw on another trend line up here. And it's breaking out, right? So let's measure the depth. 52 to up here, roughly $60. So a target roughly 560 for 560 for RH. All right, is that Earl Gatewood? Let's put on Fire Eye. Thank you for reminding me, Earl. All right. Fubo. Let's check out Fubo. Looks like it's breaking down a bit here. I would look for this to come back down to that 50 simple moving average. It would need to break up above 47.40 to me. $41. I would look for support. If it breaks that, I would look for 38.67 or 38.64, the 50 simple moving average over here. So Quanta, yes, Quanta has started breaking down a little bit over here. I like this personally with what they are doing. So this is a longer term holding for me. They did have a offering. They said they were doing an offering at 25 cents, and I don't know if they've completed all of that offering. The pricing was below that point, so I'm not sure if they were been able to sell all of their shares that they wanted to sell at 25 cents while it's now hanging down around 6 cents. Run. So Sunrun, definitely dropping down over here. Let's see, let's move this one. All right, so we have a bit of a descending wedge here. Hey, Bob. Move this up here even. All right, so it's bouncing right here, higher volume the day prior. Would look for this to take out 73.90 for me to feel bullish on this, also above that 50 simple moving average, and then up above this trend line. Right now, it's every time it's beating up against that, selling off. All right, CLSK. So CLSK looks like it keeps wanting to break above 35.80, and it's been selling it down, like smashing it down when it gets up there. This is on Friday was the first day that looks like it had that buying strength to overtake that resistance of 35.80. So keep that on watch to see if it's able to close above 36, 35.80, 36. If it does, then likely a move to the upside. All right, SPWR. Wow, lots of lines here. Get rid of this one. So 36 looks like a support area from the past, and I would watch for this 40.20 as resistance right here. Almost touched that 50 simple moving average. It's not looking, you can see that down here in the directional movement indicator that it has really just flipped to be short motion, that it's starting to really drop to the downside. And after earnings, again, I would personally wait for that third day after earnings. Fire Eye. All right, so Fire Eye over here. Watch 20, and we have a bit of a descending triangle right here. So I'd watch to see if it's able to break above this 20 simple moving average. You don't even really need a trend line, because every time it hits that 20 simple moving average on the 24-hour chart, it's selling off. So that's what I would be looking at for a potential move to the upside. Or if it can hold, if it breaks down from 20, likely coming back down to that $17, $18 mark, 18, and then on down to 17. All right, Zynga. You guys, it's like rapid fire. All right, I'm going to call it an end after FLGT and EVGN. I don't have any water next to me, and my mouth is getting really dry. All right, so Zynga. Zynga's just been nicely moving to the upside over here. Let's see if I pull these up. No, I'll just delete those. So as long as this can hold up above 12, I like this to the long side. right? We had really big volume right here. The high of this candlestick was 12.27, so even up above 12.27. I would watch for that to close up above there and then shoot up to the upside. All right, SkyWest, excuse me. So SkyWest, this looks like a nice ascending triangle, right? Got that there. Cold water you need. Yes. You know what? I don't like cold water. After I lived in Europe, I do not like cold water. I like room temperature water. All right. So hit this resistance point. You can see, hey, it broke out. It shot up there. How long has this been setting up? I would measure that from about here, 22.51. So I would look for, oh, that won't even measure it there. Let's move on up, 22.51. I would look for this to head on up to roughly $67 for SkyWest. That's what I'd be looking at for SkyWest. All right, let me just clean up some of these charts. If I have too many drawings, then my trading view gets angry at me and does not save my settings. So ALGT, yeah, you gave me that. ALGT, let's look at all time over here. So ALGT just broke above the actual resistance right here. How many shares? This looks like a low float. 13.8 million. It's crazy how I can read the low float charts and say, hey, this looks low float. So this one had a bit of like a descending wedge right here, you can see. And then once the buying came into it, it broke out. So I would measure that 76 to 180, 250, right? I would look, actually 110. So I would add 110 from here, 290, potentially $50 more or 20% more move to the upside before it hits resistance. All right, Jamia. So Jamia looks like momentum has stalled ever since about here. Volume was really high, pulled back, shot up, and now it's starting to drop to the downside. If this breaks below 52, would watch for the 48 mark and then potentially back down to 36 for Jamia. Over here, you can see as well the volume just has been dropping off on this one. GAN, LN earnings this week. Are you asking me or you're saying Jamia has earnings this week? So GAN, I see this a little bit. I see that this could have a bigger move because I see this area right here. Let's change this color and we'll make it a little bit darker. Right? So you can see, hey, it's been trading. I would watch for a break above 31 or break down below 28.25 for GAN. All right? Got it. Jamia has earnings this week. And FLGT. So FLGT went parabolic for sure. That more relaxed rate of growth is all the way down here at 62. We're double that price action right now. If we look at the more aggressive trend, hey, look, once this broke, it came back down to the 21 exponential moving average, bounced a little bit. Is this going to be a breakout to the upside with a dead cat bounce? Are we going to have a dead cat bounce and then a further continuation to the downside? I would watch this on the shorter time frame to see, is this going to break out from here and squeeze up? I'd look more for that break above 156. I would feel more confident right there if it were to break out above 156 with higher volume. Last one, EVGN. Ah, thank you, Tool Girl. All right, EVGN, this is a monthly. Let's put this back to a weekly and this one back to 24 hours. All right, so this one looks as if it's really just been riding that trend fairly easily, has earnings coming up. Again, I do not like to trade over earnings, but up to and after, no problem. So this one has really been riding the trend. You can see every time that it came back, it bounced, right? Bounce. And potentially a bounce move here. So I'd watch for this to hold 795 that 20 simple 790 or breakout above 9 for EVGN. All right, so thank you all. I would just want to tell you guys too that I do offer my trade alerts on the Ticker Talker, on my Ticker Talker leader profile for trade alerts. They're super affordable, $20 for over 140 alerts coming out. I do 7 every single morning pre-market, so you can sort of map out your trading plan for those stocks as well. So check that out. We did just recently partner with Webull, so very excited to share that with the platform as well. And if you all ever have any questions or would like to see a certain topic in a YouTube video, shoot me an email at jane@cjanetrade.com. And as I always like to say, carpe profit, seize those profits one trade at a time.